Do you want to know how you can completely ignore the circumstances happening in your 3D external world and completely be living in your imagination so you can realize your desires? This video is going to break down exactly why that's important, how to do it, how to have balance with it, and how to finally get your desires. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Rosa, and if this is the first time that you're seeing my face, then welcome. It's so nice to have you here on the channel. If you're desiring to get further support on your journey of manifestation, then you can fill out my one-on-one coaching application in the description down below. And also, super exciting announcement, I'm starting this workshop that I'm calling 5 Days in the 5D. So what it is the first week of every month. For those 5 days of the first week, there's going to be live Zoom calls every single day at a certain time. There's going to be a set topic for each month. So let's say 1 month is manifesting physical appearance, and then the entire month is going to be workshopping on manifesting physical appearance for the 5 days straight. We're going to be workshopping where there's going to be lessons, there's going to be interactions, there's going to be Q&A. It's going to be great. There's also going to be support from your fellow peers, and it's really only 5D talk in there, all right? Like, this workshop space will be the perfect place for you to completely be able to dissociate from the 3D and live in the 5D for 5 days straight. So sign up in the description down below. You're going to get notified by email when enrollment is open. This is also a great chance if you wanted more personal interactions with me, but maybe coaching is out of your budget right now, or maybe you just want to be in my energy and coaching is not for you. You don't really need it, but you'd like that support. This is the perfect space. So like I said, doors are opening soon. Check out the link in the description. And if you missed this one, don't worry, because as of right now, I'm going to be hosting these the first week of every single month. So I'd love to see you there in 5 days to the 5D. Now, I've been rambling on long enough, but this needed to be said. So I am so excited. I hope to see you there. Let's get into the video. We need to understand that in order to manifest, what manifests? What manifests is our consciousness. Our consciousness is the cause of all changes that we're going to see in our reality. So when we talk about manifesting and living in consciousness, living in our imagination, it's not to say that the 3D world is not happening. Like, clearly we're living in a 3D world, we're having this human experience, things are happening external to us all the time, and that is what our senses perceive as real. But what being the conscious creator of your reality means is that you understand that your imagination, your mind, your consciousness, your higher self, that is the true reality, and that is what's creating your external world. We need to strengthen our imaginative muscle and understand deeply that imagination is the only reality. The 3D is, simply put, a reflection of your past thoughts, beliefs, and actions. Thoughts are the root and the cause of all manifestation. When a thought is consistently repeated over and over and over in your head, what that does, it seeps into your subconscious mind and it creates a belief. And these subconscious beliefs that are ingrained into our subconscious that we carry throughout this life as who we are, as our self-concept, just our way of being, that is what manifests itself in our world. And we are acting based on our subconscious. So that's why when it comes to making a change in your world, we must not start at the level of changing the 3D, at working at manipulating the 3D, trying to get what we want by doing something in the external world. All change must first start in our own consciousness. Now, what this means on a practical level is get ourselves to use our thoughts, because the thoughts are the root of everything, by repeating a new story to ourselves over and over and over again of the reality we desire to experience as if it's already here, until we persist in that thought enough times that it becomes a subconscious belief, and whatever becomes a subconscious belief has to show up in your world. That is how the law works. When something gets impressed on our subconscious has to find a way to express it in our world. Our only job is to use our conscious mind to impress these thoughts over and over and over again into our subconscious to the point where we eventually do believe it. At first, you start saying these thoughts and affirmations to yourself, and you're not going to believe what you're saying because your senses, your physical senses, the 3D world is telling you this is not your reality, boo. But we're not living in the 3D reality over here. Yes, we can, we still have brains. We still live in the 3D world where we see, okay, it's not reflecting us right now, but we have to deny our senses and consciously choose to live in our imagination where our desires are already fulfilled. And we're doing this, we're being delusional like this, because that is what will produce the results in our life. And this isn't something you can just learn about, hear about, whatever. This is something you need to actually do in order to experience it. Your experience is going to prove to you how this works. Me sitting here, telling you all these things, it's great, it's nice information, but it's not going to do anything, okay? If you don't do the work to actually change your thoughts on a consistent basis and start to see the changes, as soon as you impress on your subconscious mind enough that you actually start to believe, like, this is my life, this is really where I am, if you don't do that, you're not going to see the changes, right? The change is in your hands. It's not in an external teacher, an external coach, nothing. it's in you doing the experience. It's you actually taking the steps to feel like you're already in that life. And the way you get to feel like you're in that life is by using your conscious mind. You have the decision, you have the power, you have the control to pound in those affirmations, to impress upon your mind the things you want to believe. When an old story comes up, nope, bring it back to the new. Your mind tells you this is not possible. Nope, I live in my imagination. The 3D world is showing you something you don't want to see. No, that's not real. Someone says something to you didn't want to hear. I did not hear you say that. No, I only hear what I hear in imagination. Now, this is not to say that we are not still living a normal, grounded life. You're not going to go up to someone and say, no, I didn't hear you say that. No, you're going to be like, okay, thank you very much, whatever the circumstance is. You know, you're not going to react in the 3D world. You only react in consciousness, okay? When you react to the 3D world, that is showing that you're not living in imagination. The changes have to start in imagination. They do not come from you trying to change the external world by telling people how to change, by morphing and manipulating situations in the 3D world to change. No, we need to have that faith and that trust that our imagination is everything. And even though there is a delay between our consciousness and our desire and its manifestation in our reality, we need to hold that faith that it is inevitable, and that if we persist enough in our desire, that it will present itself in our world. We don't want to work on the lower level of the 3D, of this lower world. We want to work at the root. We want to work at the level of thought, of consciousness. We get to produce new thoughts at will. We get to decide the story we tell ourselves on a consistent basis. How do we ignore the 3D? We remind ourselves over and over and over again of this law. We tell ourselves over and over and over again that our thoughts create our reality, and we get to decide our consistent thoughts. No, we don't control every single thought that pops into our mind, but not every single thought that pops into our mind is what manifests. What manifests is, what thoughts are we dwelling in? Are we feeding to? We hear a thought that says, oh, you're not going to manifest. That thought does not mean you're not going to manifest. It's what do you do after that thought? Are you letting that thought mean that you cannot manifest the thing you desire? Or are you saying, interesting, this is a thought that came up into my mind. It's telling me I can't manifest right now, but I know I'm the conscious creator of my reality. This is the story I'm telling myself. I'm going to continue to persist and rampage and keep my mental diet strong with the reality I want to experience, so much so that eventually, over time, those thoughts don't even need to pop up anymore, right? Because the old story, over time, once you step into the new story, the old story naturally begins to fade. This takes time. It can take time. When you persist in this enough and you begin to work on your self-concept and you begin to work on changing your story, eventually the old story is not going to continue to show up, at least not as much, or it might pop in, but you're like, I'm already over you. You know, I'm already living in my new life. So this is kind of how I think of it, is like we rampage in the new story, the new affirmations. You know, it does take discipline to keep our thoughts and our focus in what we want to call in, but we do this for a greater purpose. We have this discipline now so that later our brain just naturally chooses the more desirable way rather than the less desirable way. So yes, you put in the initial discipline, but once your subconscious mind has been impressed, you don't need to put in all this work anymore to change your story, change your internal processes. We want to ignore the 3D because we're trying to tap into the dimensionally higher world, the 5D world. Everything already exists, right? Creation is finished. There is nothing in this world that we are creating out of nothingness. Every single potential timeline, possibility, it all exists in the 5D realm, in the miraculous world, as I call it in my book. We're just aligning ourselves to it. We're just or bringing it down, whatever you want to say, going up to it. It's meeting you, or you're meeting in the middle, okay? You and your desire are meeting in the middle. This desire, you're not creating it. It already exists out there. You're just aligning yourself to it. We're bringing it down from that world, which it already exists in our consciousness, right? If it exists in our consciousness, it can be brought down into physicality. We just need to bring it from the higher realms into the lower realms. We do this by aligning our consciousness to that level, by already being there, already feeling like I already am on the same level as my desire. My desire's not, if you think your desire is on a pedestal and it's above you and there is me and there is my desire and we are separate, then you're going to stay separate. All right. We need to bring our consciousness, right? It's not about physically doing anything. It's about bringing our consciousness to the level of I am one with my desire. Me and my desire are living on the same playing field right now. Right? Life exists in your mind. If you feel already like you have your desire, you're already feeling that happiness, that joy, you're feeling content, you feel like your desire is already in your life. That is the sweet spot. That is the goal, right? The reason we want anything is to feel like we have it, right? We want to feel like it's in our reality. So feel like it now. And the paradox of life is, as soon as you feel it, then it aligns in your life. Then it comes into your life in only a matter of time. But we need to hold that faith, not give up, continue to persist, And remember that life exists in our mind. Don't let the 3D world throw you off. If you stay consistent with your desire in consciousness and aligning yourself with already feeling the way you would if your desire were realized, then your desire will be realized. Our goal needs to be to make our mental world stronger than our physical world. We need to believe more in consciousness than in the 3D. And this is humanity's biggest issue, is that we give more power to the 3D because that's what our senses view as real. And it's not our fault. This is how we were programmed. This is how we were grown up, to just view life through the lens of our human perception, right? But there's so much more, and consciousness is limitless. So if we tap into that consciousness realm, if we are able to expand our consciousness and truly understand this truth that our consciousness is everything, our consciousness creates everything, that is when you become the master of your fate, as Neville Goddard says. Your reality has to catch up once that reality first exists in your mind. Remember that if you're putting all of your attention and focus into just the 3D world, that's gonna hold you back. Realize that everything exists in the 5D, in your consciousness. You can experience everything, all the joys of life in your imagination, in your consciousness. And once that is done, once you do that enough times and it takes on the feeling of realness, that you actually feel like this is your life, your reality has to respond. Your reality has to project back to you what you believe is true about yourself, about life, about your desires, about the people around you. Everything always starts in imagination, and it makes its way into this world where our physical senses can see it. So I hope this video was helpful to you. I want you to remember to think expansively, use your imagination, and remember that life exists in your consciousness. So ignore the circumstances in your world and continue to persist in consciousness, but most importantly, continue to feel the joy that you would feel if you had your manifestation. That is the most important thing, because ultimately that's what we're all seeking, is to feel that fulfillment. So stop waiting to feel that fulfillment when you get your desire. Feel that fulfillment now and watch your life change in such a miraculous way. That's all for me in this video, guys. I hope you got value out of it. If you did, please leave it a like and a comment down below letting me know what was the most valuable thing you got out of this video. Hit that subscribe button for new videos every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And without further ado, I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Love you.